Okay. Hi guys. I am Unnati. I have done my architecture from Priyadarshini Institute of Architecture and Design Studies, PRs in Nagpur. My thesis topic is generating a new civic magnet, transforming a defunct eastern waterfront of Mumbai. Okay, so how this topic came up, I'll be very honest in explaining this. So I didn't had any topic pre-planned. Okay, I want to do this. One thing I was sure that I didn't want to go into housing. I didn't want to go into any institutional work. So I knew what I didn't want. So it was like, what should I now do? I was more interested into life projects. So I searched few life projects, and this Mumbai Eastern Waterfront came one of the article I read. One of the pros I'll tell you about life project is you have a very strong base. Okay, because one thing I knew before starting the thesis is if I'm having my own topic, I have to not waste, but I have to take a lot of time in just justifying why I'm doing this. Because there's a lot of question like, is it really necessary? Is it important? Is it going to impact? There are a lot of things that you need to consider, and I don't want to go into that zone. So I was very clear that we'll go for live projects only. Mumbai Eastern Waterfront, when I was researching more about how it is, so I'll tell you the brief of what Mumbai Eastern Waterfront is. Earlier, when we talk about post-independence, so Mumbai changed and expanded drastically. All kinds of new cities, such as Bandra, I'll say towns like Bandra, Andheri, or Malad, all those came together into city fabrics. Population kept on increasing, and Mumbai on those area, I'll say around 1860, around that time, Mumbai became capital of Maharashtra state, and also it was one of the oldest ports of India. As population increased, trade also increased, and this eastern waterfront was the prime space from where the trading happened. But then there was congestion of roads and railways. There were so many things. This port became inadequate of handling the modern cargo, and there was a need of having a new port. So all these activities shifted to the JNPT. But now what happened is the space which was of so much significance, so much importance, now become a defunct area, because all those activities shifted, and also because this area is into Mumbai Port Trust. So it's a government land. So privatization didn't happen, as in the private development didn't happen. So the spaces are that. And when I went for site visit, the space is so beautiful. If you think of waterfront into western, it's or you have high tides, low tides. But when you go to eastern waterfront, it's such a peaceful site, and such a long coastline is being just wasted. I guess Mumbai Port Trust also realized that, and then they come up with this redevelopment plan in 2015. Union government with affiliation with the Mumbai Port Trust and government authorities, private authorities, they come together and they proposed a plan for redevelopments. Their basic agenda was to convert it into a tourism hub, and also to convert it into a recreational space. So this was the thing. Now, when I say I got the base, is because when I was searching about it, Mumbai Port Trust themselves, they came up with a Mumbai Port Trust report. So in that report, they specified each and everything, what is existing, what are they aiming for, what are their objectives. So I had very clear things in my mind. If someone asks why are you doing this, it has to be done. That's why I'm doing this. It was very clear. So that's the thing that you can consider if you're considering a live project. Then I went for Eastern Waterfront. I went on the site. Right now, existing site is very shady. When I went there, a lot of slum development is there, informal settlement is there, huge warehouses are there, which is not in use. So it's a very shady area. And when I was traveling, I was once going through local, and I had few, see, as an architect, as a student of architect, you always are going through process, how it's going to turn out, how the things will happen. So I had few things in mind, and when I was going, I shared my idea with one person that, okay, I'm student. I told him that what is my agenda, what I'm planning. And he was like, oh, you are doing an eastern waterfront. Because they are a lot disconnected to that space. But then I said, okay, we'll create it as a civic magnet, we'll work in that way. And it was interesting. Okay, we can do that. I'm interested in to go to that place, because these people are very much connected to the western world, the western Mumbai. Eastern, they are not much connected. That was the biggest challenge, I would say. Now, when you consider Eastern Waterfront, it's a huge 966.3 hectares of land. It's next to impossible for me to do such a long area. But when I went through few researches, I came up that this project was handed over to HP Associates. They did all the surveys, they did all the planning, and they divided the whole Eastern Waterfront into few chunks of land or few zones. So they have CBD, residential, commercial, and they have one specific zone that goes for a cultural district. And we were also planning to have a civic magnet. So I thought that that area would be much, you also have a reason, because itna bada chunk of lands, if you're taking one land, you need to have a reason that itne bade lands, why are you taking that amount of land? So we had a reason, and the site was very interesting. It was like a three-piered. It is called as three fingers. So it was Tang Bandar, Lakdi Bandar, and Kol Bandar. That was the area. For your reference, it is near that Bhaucha Dhakka area. So it was that. So site was very, very, very much interesting. Now also the major challenge. So this was about the site and why we are doing this. Now, when I went through all the conversations, all the researches and whatever, there was like, what we need to do now? Like, okay, we can have multiple things into that area. Why a civic magnet? So, civic magnet specially means I'll explain you in simple words, a platform where people come together and they contribute socially, economically, culturally. Just a space where people are coming together, and I guess that's the most important thing, because this area is so much connected to public. We need to push public into our area, which was also a challenge but also an opportunity to create this civic magnet. So that was my overall idea of, okay, we can do this, we can do that. Now coming to the site in specific, so we had three fingers. Now whatever we are designing, it is going to revolve around users. It is very important that whatever you are designing, it should consider, and first priority should be your users. Onto that area, I've considered the floating population, residential, passerby, everyone. So my all concept revolve around what user wants. When we talk about user, they have their specific wants and they wishes for something. I want this, but I also wishes for that. But I guess as an architect, you should also go to their desires. You should not give them bare minimum that they are expecting. When we talk about civic space, obviously they have waterfront, they need spaces to enjoy the waterfront. That is their bare minimum expectations. For that, I'll give you an example. I went for case studies. I went to Sabarmati. It's a long riverfront that they have redeveloped, but I personally didn't enjoy it much. It was much of a hardscape. There was no connection, I feel. Like, this is my personal opinion. But when you talk about Marine Drive, nothing is there. But it connects so much to people because it gives what people want. They want a space and they want to enjoy their sunsets, and that's what the space is offering them. So the space becomes successful if you're giving people what they're wanting. That was my plan for doing it. And the basic thing that everyone will agree, that when people are given choices to choose, they are more interested and invested into a space. So I wanted to design something where people are given choices in experimentation and exploration, creating their own experiences. I don't want them ki you have to go like this, you have to go like that, you have to experience this activity, then you have to experience that activity. I want to set them free, do whatever you want to do. So that was my initial idea, and I wanted to give them a very different experience. So my initial thought was giving them very distinct characteristics. So our site helped us a lot into this. So as I actually previously said, we had three piers. So what we thought is, we'll set one pier which will goes for the modernity of Mumbai, which will have all kind of activities which shows modern Mumbai, be it theaters, music concerts, studios, night activities, all the vibrancy, all fun and all kind of that vibe will have onto one pier. Second pier will take you to the roots of Maharashtra. So all kinds of, considering art, tradition, architecture, culture, everything, we have to reflect Maharashtra into that. So it should be like, if you're entering, even if you don't know anything about Maharashtra, you'll know about Maharashtra. Even if when you're considering food courts, so will offer food particular of Maharashtra, like Malwani food, Varadi food, all sorts of that thing. And third pyre, as I already said, user becomes very important. A space is going to be successful when the repeat users are more. So we have to consider the people that are residing there. So onto our side, we are going to experience sunrises. So all kind of morning activities, be it jogging, skating, meditation, libraries, all kind of activities are onto one area. And also in their proposal with tourism hub, they also had a sea transportation. So, and there is no as such ferry terminal onto that side. We have such a great advantage of water transportation over there, then why not have a ferry terminal? So we have also designed a ferry terminal onto our site, which might become a very premium location. It is going to be used by public on like very daily basis. So the public coming to our sites are going to increase. So it might make us place successful. That was the plan. So now, as I explained, this was my having a distant character was my concept. Also, when you consider the site, it is a very longitudinal site. Like almost in average, it is around 500 meters into length. So it's not possible for people to walk, continuously for 500 meters. So we take few principles from urban design, that are nodes, edges, paths, landmarks, districts. So we took care that every 200 to 300 meters we'll have a node. So when you're entering into the site, you have a node. You have walked around 300 meters, you have a node. Now it's like node is like a resting place for people. So the connection was such that it was across the piers as well as in the pier. So wherever you have a node, there is a bridge that connects to another pier. So now if I'm walking to Maharashtra, for an example, Maharashtra pier, I am onto a node. Now I'm seeing something very vibrant happening into a Bollywood pier. So I was like, no, I want to go there. So I'll take the bridge and I'll have a very different experience onto that area. So it was all kind of a experimentation, exploration, because every time I'm going to come, I might take some different routes, because there are a lot of connection in between the site. I might experience something very different than what I experienced in the earlier. And I guess experiences, memories are the things that are going to last when you're into a space. And that was my overall idea, ki no, you have to create experiences, you have to give people memories, be it their past, be it their tradition, be it their culture, be it the modern Mumbai, because people won't be ready to give up their modern Mumbai and give up the modern vibe. So that was my overall concept before designing into Maharashtra pyre also. And then it was around 99293 hectares, all the pyres. But for narrowing down, for making more specific for built masses, we just chose Maharashtra pyre and we detail it out further. So in those we have workshops that gives you proper crafts and arts of Maharashtra, be it Wali painting, be it some handloom, everything of that sort. Then you have food courts, then you have exhibitions and everything. Now talking about also how architecture played a role into it. When I was designing the built up masses and its facades and everything, I went back to how Maharashtrian architecture is, considering the Wada architecture. So all the elements, be it a sloping roof, Mangalore tiles, then you have pillared corridors that are known as SOPA, which is a pillared corridors, then the open spaces, there are all sort of. Then you have a Konkan trails, which is a architecture from Konkan. So it's like a trail that goes on the eaves of sloping roof. So all kind of that architectural elements we try to fit in there. So it creates a vibe. It creates a feel that you are actually into a Maharashtrian space. You are actually enjoying a Maharashtrian village kind of a thing. So that was my overall concept for doing everything. Yes, see, again, when my thesis started, when I went through the site, I knew that I wanted the site. I just wanted to work on the site. So we have to give options. Like if two options, then they'll have discussions and they'll say, okay, you can go with this topic. So I considered the same site and I gave two options. One was cruise terminal and one was the Civic Magnet. Initially I was more into Civic Magnet, but then I was like, cruise terminal is something different, I will do that. I was not much convinced with the Civic Magnet thing. But then what happened, that my Civic Magnet topic got selected. So I was like very, conscious कि like ठीक है करना तो है, but it should be a thesis level topic. You should justify it. How am I going to do that? So that was, it's not a weird experience, but that was the moment I was in most confusion कि shit अभी select हो गया, अभी what to do that after that. But I guess things got aligned, things got sought, and my mentor was Professor Nishant Manapure. He helped me a lot in the sense, not just in work wise, but also the way you proceed with your design. Because from first year you are doing design, but when this thesis came along, I realized how it is important and how much your design is going to impact people. You see, you are going to design, but maybe you will design a spaces from user point of view, but to imagine that okay, users are such में going to use the space, it's a very different thing. So I realized, and I guess it's the most valuable insight that I've got, and I'm so sure that even further I'm going or I'm designing something, the users are the first thing that I'm going to consider. Users are the first thing I'll consider me going into that space and using it. So that was, I didn't had any weird experiences, but that was the point of confusion for me. Okay, so see, there's a lot of difference between urban design, urban planning. I was thinking that my thesis is an urban design project, but later I realized when a master in urban design said that it's not an urban design project, it's more into redevelopment. When you talk about urban design, it should be within city. It should deal with city fabric. When you're stating it as an urban design project, even if your design is shifted by a kilometer, it should not make sense. When that happens, then it becomes an urban design project. The things that you need to consider, a lot of things. So you need to limit yourself. If your area is large, if because I was dealing with around 29 acres. Largely, I did a master plan for around 263 acres, but the detail I did was for 30 acres. You need to limit yourself, because if you are doing a site plan for such a huge area, it's not possible for you to then go into depth. Either go into depth or like limit yourself. If you want to detail it out, then take a smaller area and do the best possible details you can. If you want to go for bigger area, detail it accordingly. Then when you talk about urban, again, considerations such as what are the FSI that they have proposed. If you're taking live projects, it's the best, I'll tell you. But I'm not forcing to like do it, but you have such a strong base. They will give you all like for example, in my thesis, I got a report in which I had each and every consideration regarding everything. I had guidelines with me also. It is also because it was a very prime and very I'll say famous life project. I'm not sure in each and every life project you'll get such a strong data, but again, then guidelines should be important. And I'll also say, if you really want to do something, if you really are interested into a specific project, and ki, okay, this is going to create a problem, but be ready for that. Justify your design. Just don't let your thesis just be just for thesis, because it's a final project that you're doing, and तुम कितना भी कुछ भी कर लो, thesis is going to be a design process which is going to stick to you. So just don't do it for the sake of doing it. Put your all hearts and efforts. You have done so much into 4 years. Put all whatever you have into your thesis project. Do it good. Don't leave it. Do it properly. Everything will work out. So that's all. Bye.